Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I'm proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. So, if you know Michael Jackson, you would know that this is this song here, the Smile song by Charlie Chaplin. This is an important song in Michael Jackson. I would think most of the real Michael Jackson fans would know that this is a big deal, right? Okay, and I like that it has him here looking like Charles Chaplin too. And so, let me show you, because I always say that everything is Diana Ross, right? With Michael Jackson, the massive amounts of Diana Ross connections and stuff. It's ridiculous and stuff. So this is Diana Ross. She had a TV special called Diana in 1971. So this is shortly after the Jacksons have come to Motown. And Diana, I think she's doing this TV special because I'm not sure exactly on the date of when she separated from the Supremes, but it was around that time too, I believe. And that's kind of why she's doing this too, is because that's why it's called Diana. It's not the Supremes, you know. It's kind of a thing about branding herself, is something about like that too. So she did this here in 1971 and stuff. So I'm going to scroll through it though to show you, like, this is how it would have went, right? So here she is in the beginning, and then she's showing you there who's going to be on the show, and then there she is. So she came on and did her first performance, right? And then she's talking to some kids, you know, stuff like okay, then the Jackson 5 perform. Okay, Jackson 5 perform. Then Michael comes and does his solo little thing. He does this thing. And then comes and does his solo thing with Diana. Okay. Then you got Diana again. And it looks like she's singing by herself here. And then the other big person that appeared on the show was Bill Cosby and stuff. It was funny, and so yeah, I could play all this stuff, and but it's not that important. So Bill Cosby was on. He was the other big person on the show. So she's doing a skit with him. Then Cosby does the skit with the Jacksons. He does this skit with the Jacksons, and he was saying he was in love with this girl Berta, and that ended up being a fat Diana Ross. She dressed up in a fat suit. And that was his girlfriend. And so that's what I'm saying. Okay, there was the Jacksons, that when they were all together there. And then after that skit, they do, then Diana does some skit with this guy who I don't know exactly who he is, but they were doing a little comedy thing. It was funny. And then it looks like Diana sings again after that. And then this is the thing that I wanted to show you. It's like, okay, so now on that show, you know, where the Jacksons, not only did Michael, you know, not only does he appear with the Jacksons twice on this show, but he's got that solo thing. He does a solo performance, and then he sits down with Diana, and they do like a team comedy performance, you know? So his thing in this is massive. And then Diana, she's doing all kinds of stuff, and she does this. She goes into other people too, but I wanted to get to that part right there. Let me see if I can get. I want to get where it's on that close up on her face. Okay. You know, so with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, you know, these things, and like I'm saying, Michael appeared on this show, and right before this show, this is 1971, so that's right up until where when you talk about the history of what's going on, Michael's basically living with Diana Ross up until 1971. 1971, when the show airs, Diana Ross is pregnant at this time with Rhonda Ross Gordy. So she's actually pregnant. Diana Ross is having a love affair with Barry Gordy, going into the marriage with the Silverstein guy that she marries, Ellis Silverstein, and Michael's there too. So Michael's, while Diana's having those love affairs, Michael's there, and then then they go in and Diana separates from the Supremes, does this show. Here's Michael. The Jacksons are just majorly involved, and on the show, Diana's doing Charlie Chaplin, okay? And in Michael Jackson's life, so as I'm saying, when the influences of how does this get to be the influence of Michael Jackson? Well, it's through Diana Ross, like I keep telling you. Everything is Diana Ross with Michael Jackson. The massive, massive influences in him through his music and art, everything. It's massive. There's the connections between Michael Jackson and Diana Ross are just so massive. That's what offends me and then like even where he's got the song Dirty Diana, and then Diana Ross is in his will. I mean, the connections that he lived with them, the connections between them are so massive, and the fact that people are offended that I would even ask a question. And then so that's the thing, is they're offended that I even asked the question. But I didn't just ask the question. I've done the investigation. I've done all the real research with all the real dates, putting them together, linking everything between them to have the true understanding of what's going on. I've explained everything. And what happens is, what you see is, when you go and you actually look at all of the real history of what was going on and stuff, what you find out is that the evidence that's there that tells my story, it's just ridiculously massive. It's there, and it's over and over and over, and there's just so much of it. I'm just overwhelmed with it. It's just constant. It's everything. These are things that, like I say, it's just like, there's no way these things keep appearing the way that they are. There's no way. There's way too much, How many signs and things did they have to give you? And see, and that's the thing, is you got to understand that these people, they lived in a world before even the idea of internet. Like even when I was growing up as a young teenager in the 80s, right? Even computers are coming around and stuff. But compared to what the internet is and stuff, and even you would have had slight ideas, but you didn't really believe that they would be like this, like in my lifetime. I didn't really believe it was like, there was like the Jetsons, and so you knew that, like, okay, there is a space thing where the humans are going to evolve into like a futuristic world and stuff. But it didn't really like that. But now, like with this stuff, like this is one of those like Jetsons type of stuff. This is futuristic world stuff. But like I'm saying, so when Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, when they're living in their history, they're not living in the internet stuff. And so they're doing their things like this because this is historic. It's documented. Okay, so they had to do these things like this. They're linking up and doing all this stuff because these are the things, when you go back, like what I did, I actually went back and looked, and I found all this stuff that they left. They actually did leave breadcrumbs behind, and it's stuff like this. Because like when you see Michael Jackson like this, it's one of those things that when you go back and see this, okay, well, isn't that a breadcrumb? Okay, and then Michael's on this show, appearing with them, and he was just living with her for a year and a half before this, and she's taking him out almost every day. They're hanging out. I mean, it's crazy when you hear the real story of what actually took place. And then that's why you see this. That's why you see this, and that's why we all know this. That's why we know this. So it's time for you people to start understanding that this is this.